All right. Very good. So my name's Matt Chemworth, and I'm the best man. He hates these kind of pictures. All right. So I've known Joe for a long time, and we've been pretty close for the past 15 years. I mean, we used to shower together. I'm clearly referring to our time in the Marines. At that time, we didn't have any other choice. But now it's because Hope and Sarah won't let us. So in the process, he also never said no. So in the process of coming up with the speech, I thought it'd be a great idea to reach out to people we'd served with and request a few good stories for the occasion. Now I do have to start off with a disclaimer. We had some interesting characters with some great nicknames. Most of them were actually gifts from Joe himself. They had names like Tater, Fish, Gayhue, Baby Butler, Fat Butler, Dude, Freewoo, Wolfman, a.k.a. Ando Commando, a.k.a. Anderson Commanderson, Toucan, Volusia, Battle Fat, Cheapworth, and he even gave himself a nickname, J. Diddy.
J. Diddy!
He actually loves his nickname so much he made J. Diddy with an exclamation point the password to all of his social media accounts. So if you want to hack his Instagram right now, here's your chance. Well, this idea of collecting and sharing stories turned into a terrible one, resulting in some gag orders and the deleting of my internet browser history. But I learned something from soliciting these guys, and that's that Joe leaves one hell of a lasting impression. And every memory shared was a fond one. That usually made us laugh. Joe's a hilarious person. Like when I was reminded of the time when Joe was peed on by a drunk man-child Marine wearing a kilt.
It's on my shoe. It's on my box. Yeah, because I think you need to clarify that one.
Or the time when we were late to a formation because we didn't want to leave before we watched the climactic ending of a Law and Order SVU. I'll even share my own story of how Joe and I first met. We were both new guys, or boots in the Marines. Now, we all know how Joe will do just about anything for a good laugh. So one night, he decided to let a bunch of drunk and haze-crazy Marines into our room. As myself and my other roommate were being yelled at and disciplined, Joe was right outside the door watching with a suppressed smile and a twinkle in his eye. A few days later, we had our revenge, when a challenge was thrown out to ground fight some senior Marines. This was before the UFC was mainstream, and we had no idea what that meant. But we didn't hesitate to alert them all that Joe wrestled in high school. We watched with glee as Joe was quickly wrapped up and choked out. He claimed he didn't know the rules. But that did not stop us from enjoying the moment. Now that I think about it, this probably marks the beginning of a vicious cycle of clowning each other for our own amusement. That still continues today. And nobody's safe. Just ask Gary from the Bachelor Party.
Gary, 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 Gary.
Well, my first impression of Joe was a little shaky. It didn't take long for me to grow fond and find myself gravitated towards him. Maybe it was his New Jersey charm and Marky Mark resemblance. But it's more likely... Right. But it's more likely that he was able to buy us beer and made me feel tall. In a lot of ways, I was opposite of Joe. I was from rural Maryland, quiet, skinny, keep to myself, and was one of the youngest guys in our unit. Joe was older, confident, outgoing, hilarious, and popular. Now, the Marines are known for their brotherhood, and I found this to be especially true with the kind of relationship we developed. I honestly felt like he took me under his wing. I always do that. I always felt like he took me under his wing and taught me some life lessons the only way an older brother figure would. He taught me how to bong a beer. He taught me how to bong a second beer. And then a third. He showed me how to deal with never growing to be 6 foot tall. And that men can shop at Kids Foot Locker.
Keep going.
He showed me how to deal with male pattern baldness.
Aww.
He also showed me how to lose my utter shit at a salesperson or photographer until they were convinced that they do in fact owe me a new iPhone, or that I won't take a picture. He also let me do a lot of things for him as well. He would let me drive him home to New Jersey when we had leave, or DD us back from the bar. He even let me carry him home and tuck him into bed. Even after the Marines, when we moved to Florida and attended the same college, Joe was still teaching me life lessons. I knew the basics, like weekends were for fun, drinking, and football. But what I didn't know is that our weekdays were also going to be filled with fun, drinking, but instead of football, we watched some premium TV. Shows like the Jersey Shore, Real Housewives of New Jersey, Bad Girls Club, Honey Boo Boo, 16 and Pregnant, Teen Mom 1, Teen Mom 2, and Teen Mom 3. But to be honest with you, what Joe's introduced me more than anything else was to enjoy life. The nights out, the sporting events, concerts, random hangouts are countless. And Joe was always the man to get everyone fired up and ready to have a good time. So after this, get ready. For example, a group of us were visiting Orlando for a weekend. And we somehow ended the night with a dozen Long Island iced teas and Joe's doing belly flops off a waterfall at the Disney Resort pool. He was bruised for several days. Or the time we were at Wild Splash, a hip-hop concert with headliners like Machine Gun Kelly,
DMX,
Childish Gambino, and the legendary DMX. It didn't take long for Joe to lead us into a circle and make friends with a group of gang members who enthusiastically thrown out gang signs. I honestly thought we were going to get shot. Even at an event like Gasparilla. Joe's the first one on top of a table getting everyone else drinking shots and beers at 9:30 in the morning while chanting the Eagles song. I do have to add that Joe didn't make it to the parade that year. But the best example that I can give comes with my memory of Iraq. Joe was able to get everyone laughing and having a good time, and I know that helped us all out and find some happiness even during the most dismal times. This is something that I'll never forget. And everything would suck beyond belief, I would still hold on to those memories with the most fondness. Because we would just be a group of guys, laughing our asses off, clowning each other every single day. And that would help you forget where you were, but never forget who you were with. Now we all know Joe is a very straightforward person. He'll be the first to hold you accountable, call you out, or give his unsolicited, honest opinion. But that doesn't mean that he still doesn't surprise you and show a softer side from time to time. I think we all saw that today. Like when Joe and I moved into our apartment together, I remember coming home to the song, or come home to Adele blasting from his bedroom speakers. Thinking that I was catching Joe depressed, mid-cry, and a ball on the ground in the middle of the floor. I was wrong. He's a big Adele fan. And he enjoys singing along. But Joe does have a softer side. His DVD collection includes the entire Twilight series and High School Musical. Or just make him watch an episode of Extreme House Makeover with Ty Pennington. Or an ESPN 30 for 30. They choke him up every single time. I'm almost done. When Joe moved into his own apartment over in St. Petersburg, I was shocked to find, for the first time when we came over, his collection of live, laugh, love quotes all over the damn walls.
Kirkland's, baby.
Now, as a homeowner, I'm pretty sure he owns stock at Kirkland's. He will honestly text me and tell me that they have a 20% off discount going on. And look around this wedding. How many quotes are around? Everyone always said there's no hope for Joe. Who would have known that she was only a swipe away? Even when we first met Hope, they'd only gone on a few dates, but Joe had already bought her flowers, a card, and a birthday cake. I'm not even sure it was her birthday, but he was going to turn down dessert. But I knew that he saw something special from Hope, and I was beyond happy to hear the news that he was going to propose. I may have even teared up a little when he sent me the proposal video of him all dressed up, looking nervous, shaking a little bit, and dropping to his knee to ask Hope to marry him. I know I saw a verbal yes, so Hope, remember you agreed to this. But Hope, Joe's my best friend. He'll be the best man at my wedding, so I had to go kind of PG-13 with this speech. But I'm a little jealous because you make him happy in ways that he never will let me. And because of that, you are now responsible for carrying him home and tucking him into bed. And if you take anything from the speech, besides the fact that we enjoy beer, is that I've learned some valuable life lessons from Joe. And I think we can all take something from them. Be around people you want to be like the most. Enjoy life, be yourself, and don't be afraid to show your softer side. So if everybody will join me in a toast to our new bride and groom, Joe and Hope Hardy.